Hi, it's John from the Daily Market Farm, and today's the first day of spring, so we're going to be building some no-till beds, and I'm going to show you how I do it on my farm. If you like this content, please subscribe and hit like. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I laid out my walkways here. My beds are 30-inch beds, and I string it out to an 18-inch walkway. And the first thing you want to do is get all this weedy material out of here. I use a stirrup hoe, and I just come through and just chop it off like this. And then I'll come back in with a rake, and I'll rake all that stuff out of there, because you don't want this going up through the aisles. Okay, so once you get the walkway all raked out, still some stubble in there, but that'll be okay, because we're going to lay this cardboard right down on top. And what we're doing that for is to keep the weeds from growing up into the aisles. Now, I don't put the cardboard in the bed itself, because I put a pretty thick layer of compost down, so it's really hard for weeds to grow up through something that thick. It's probably going to be a good 4 inches of compost by the time I get done with it. So we're just going to do this in the aisle. So what happens is you water this in. You're going to wood chip this, put the wood chips on top of it. This will break down over time. A lot of people feel funny about throwing cardboard on the ground, but it's biodegradable. The worms will come up, this will be disappeared in a matter of a month or so. As long as the weather gets warming, the microbes in the soil start to come up, they'll dissolve that cardboard right up, and you'll never even see it. So don't really worry about that. Some people call it lasagna beds, and what they'll do is they'll cardboard the whole area, and they'll put everything down with the cardboard. Most of this area I did not do that, because I kept the weeds at a minimum last year, so I'm not really too worried about weeds coming up all the way through that compost. So we should be okay, but we'll find out later down the road if it actually works out or not. Okay, so we got our cardboard laid down, and all I'm going to do is just give this good watering to soak it in. That'll help break the cardboard down much faster. And once we're done with that, I'll come through with my wood chips. We'll put the wood chips down, and that should be it. And hopefully we'll keep the weeds out for this season. Now what I do is I do a 30-inch bed, and this is a 20-foot long bed, and I do 3 20-foot long beds. And the reason I do that on my farm is because the 20-foot bed fits a 10-20 flat of lettuce perfectly. As long as I get 100% germination, I need all of them to be germinated, or I'm not going to fill that whole space. So it just fits in there perfectly. That's the way I want to do it. This is a smaller farm. Everybody does something different. A lot of people standardize as 30-foot beds, 50-foot, 100-foot beds, but we're a small farm here, so I'm only doing 20-foot beds. Until we grow, and maybe I'll change, but the other thing that I do is I'll have a string. My string is only 20 foot long, so I can measure out each bed when I'm planting something. When you're going to plant something, you're going to run a string so you do it nice and straight. So I have a string that I can put it on every bed. It fits every bed. I don't have to have 20 different strings for 20 different size beds. So it's all about efficiency, trying to save time wherever you can. And that's another reason that I'm doing all this no-till. A lot of it is to keep the weeds down, but more importantly to me, there's a benefit of having the microorganisms in the soil. If you don't till the soil, always have something growing in the soil, so you're sequestering carbon from the atmosphere, you're putting nitrogen in the soil, and you're not going to let it dry out. It's going to hold water better. There's so many benefits. You're going to have more healthy produce, more bug resistant produce. It's going to have more vitamins in it, more minerals. There's just so many benefits to not tilling. So it's something that you might want to look into, and I'll probably do a video on a little bit more in depth about no-till and you know, its benefits. So that's it, and hopefully you guys learned something from that. And again, this is the way I do it. Other people do their farm another way, and that's okay, because everybody's doing something different, and we're always learning, and we're evolving. And you know, everybody that's in this small farming community is going to find a different way of doing things, and we all learn from each other, and that's why these videos are kind of important. So again, please subscribe to this channel and hit like if you like this video, and I'll talk to you next time.